Hey, what's up guys? This is Pete Scott here, sales and business mentor for the 1%. In this video, I'm going to share with you something that is not only crucial for sales, but is imperative for life as well. And it is how to deal with that one thing that stops us, that hindered us, that holds us back from success. And it is negativity. That's right. I'm going to talk to you about how to deal with negativity, because if you've been alive for more than 5 minutes, then you have most definitely, at some point in your life, you have had to go through some negativity. It could have been a circumstance, but usually it relates to an individual or a group of people. So we live in a world where it is such an amazing place to be, and there is no reason for negativity. And I want you to think about this before I even go into this video. That has negativity ever helped you? Has it ever created something where you go, wow, actually that negativity is really helping me out right now? Or does it only help, because it does help one thing, it helps your ego. It helps your ego in that moment to feel better. Now, coaching and mentoring thousands of sales professionals over the years, the one thing that I see in a sales office where a team is struggling is negativity, whether it's negativity in the team, whether it's negativity in the seller's mindset, because a lot of the time it's our own mindset that makes us negative. In fact, most of the time everything starts in here, right? The big question is number one, how do we identify it? Number two, once we have identified it, what do we do to eliminate it? Well, let's go through it this way. I want you to know that in life, people offer each other gifts. You are just going about your day without even realizing it. You are giving and receiving gifts, and those gifts might be incredible. So for example, you might meet somebody and they give you the gift. When you open it, it is the gift of empowerment, or the gift of inspiration, or the gift of new skills. So at that point you say, wow, thank you. It might simply be the gift of a compliment. Just because it isn't physical, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Think about that. What if someone gave you a gift, and when you opened it, in that box, in that gift, there was a snake, a venomous snake? How would you react? Would you accept the gift and say, oh, thanks so much? Would you sit there with that gift and say, oh, I probably should say to that person that I don't want this gift? Well, no, you wouldn't. You would immediately throw that snake straight back, or the box straight back at that person, right? And you'd say, what are you doing? But because when it comes to negativity, because we don't see it, most of the time we accept the gift of negativity and we hold on to somebody else's negativity. And guess what? You don't need to. Because the one thing you've got to protect in this life, other than your family and all those things, they're the obvious things, right? But the one maybe not so obvious thing that you need to protect is this. You've got to protect your mind, especially in sales, because in sales professionals, and if you're a salesperson yourself, you'll know that you have to deal with rejection after rejection. You have to be told no, you have to be told I'll think about it. You have to be, maybe you've been told to F off. I know I have a number of times. You've been told that what you're selling, is a shit product. That's tough. So you've got to protect. I want you to write this down right now. Write it in the comments section right now. In fact, if you haven't liked this already, what are you doing? Get positive. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. But I want you to write this down. I must protect my positivity. Now, this isn't about just going out there and high-fiving and saying life is amazing, positive affirmations in the mirror. But before you go out there and do any of that positivity and do your great work, it's really crucial that you are able to protect your mind from the negativity, because it is out there. It will get you sideways. It will come from places that you maybe don't even expect. So let's understand exactly what negativity is, okay? Because negativity, as I mentioned, it wears many masks, and it's crucial that we understand what it is. The more awareness we have about negativity, the more we can handle it. Well, first of all, you need to know that although that people want you to be successful, and there will be people out there who love what you do, who are supporting you and gunning for your success and high-fiving you, saying go for it, that's not everybody. And it's really fundamental to note this, that people will want you to be successful, but not necessarily more successful than them. And the reason for this is not because of you and not because of what you're going for, but because of the fact that it's a reflection on them, you going after your dreams and you expecting maybe a family member or maybe a friend or a colleague to be happy for you isn't always the case, because every bit of positivity and you taking action is a direct mirror of them not going for something in their life. So that's why when you start to lift above, and I don't mean this above that you're a better person than them, but I quite simply mean that you are doing something amazing and it's just a reflection for them that shit, I'm not doing something myself. So it's crucial to be the better person and to understand what that person is going through. And I'm not saying that we have sympathy for that person, you must have empathy, but it is crucial not to try and justify yourself and to explain your positivity. I went through many years with my family trying to prove to them that they were wrong and I was right, and all they were doing was that they were just looking at me from a survival standpoint. Because remember, in this world, your mind is not built to thrive, your mind is built to survive. And if you think about if you've ever been crabbing and you've caught crabs in the ocean, and then you bring the net in and one of those crabs goes up to leave the net, what will the other crabs do? Well, they will grab, just as that crab is about to escape and drop back into the ocean, all the other crabs will work together to pull that crab back down. Because crabs believe, well, they're not a belief, but the way the crab instinct works and the behavior works is that strength in numbers. We are not too far away from other species in the world, and think about it, just a few hundred years ago, we were in a situation where it was strength in numbers. We couldn't go off and do our dream. We couldn't go off and do these amazing things. So of course, it makes sense for people to keep the pack together. And by telling you not to go and do something and being negative towards you is not necessarily them believing that they're being negative, but what it means is that they're just trying to protect and stay alive. With me on this, give me a thumbs up if you are, give me a comment below. This is making sense for you. And it goes beyond this. There's a difference between negativity and stating a fact. So for example, if you go to a restaurant and you order the main course, the main course comes out and it's meant to be a nice hot Sunday roast, and then you get the roast and it's cold. And of course, you are totally within your right to call the waiter or waitress over and say, excuse me, the roast that I've received is cold. Can I get another meal, please? Can I get one that's warm? You see, that is not negative. That is simply stating a fact. Negativity is when you call the waiter or waitress over and you say, what the hell is wrong with my food? This is cold. What has gone wrong with this place? It's going downhill. Now that is going from the logical, that is going from stating the truth to simply making an attack on someone that, you know, it's not, they're not the chef, they didn't cook the food. Maybe they didn't know. So you got to know in yourself when you are being negative too. The next thing I'll say on negativity is knowing when someone is being negative and being able to pick up on it quickly, because it may come across in the form of what we call passive aggression. So that basically means that they're saying something that sounds like they're making fun or they're being positive, but actually what they're doing is they're being aggressive passively. So it might be something to make fun of you, it might be kind of a derogatory comment, but what I want you to do and how to handle this negativity is one of a few things. So these are your options here in this short YouTube video. Number one is you can remove yourself from the environment, because removing yourself from the environment gets you back to the environment that is helping you instead of hindering you. So that's the most simple one that I'd recommend. Anytime that you recognize a negative environment, you need to remove yourself from it. Number two is, and this is one that you need to be brave for, you need to have courage. If you can see that somebody is being negative, if you're going to pick a fight in life, then you need to knock that person out in one punch, although I don't recommend picking a physical fight. But what I mean by this is by stating loud and clear that you feel that person is being negative and this is the reasons why, and you would like it to stop. By calling out on the behavior, you've raised the red flag and you're showing that it is unacceptable in your life. You're demonstrating that that gift of negativity is not allowed. You don't let that into your remit, because most people don't do that. What they do is that they allow behaviors that are unacceptable to become acceptable. And the longer you go along with it, the more that you are taken in by it. So it's really crucial to stand up for yourself, because by doing that, every time you do it, you'll be able to step up and you'll raise your confidence, so on and so forth. If you don't handle the negativity, then what's going to happen? You will start to suppress, and it becomes a descending spiral. Think about this for a moment. In conflict, what is the worst possible thing? The worst possible thing is this. It is not the conflict. It is unresolved conflict. Most of the wars around the world that have happened over the years are due to unresolved conflict. When you deal with the symptom but not the cause, all you do is you get more of the symptom. You might get maybe not that symptom, but it will push out and be another symptom. Doing a lot of work with corporations over the years, I've seen too much of this, too much passive aggression, too much finger pointing, too much of the blame game, too much overall negativity. And rather than the manager or the person directly dealing with this, because especially in England, I don't know where you're watching this from, we've been taught to be very reserved and not to call people out on their negative behavior. And unfortunately, this leads to the most worst thing of all in conflict, which is unresolved conflict. If you have symptoms with your body and you keep taking pills to deal with the symptoms, but you do not deal with the root cause, that could be bad news for you, because what you're doing is you are masking the fact that there is an issue to be resolved. So I always recommend that, number one, you deal with the negativity, or you deal with the conflict. Number two, if you don't feel brave enough at this point, and that's okay, to deal with that negativity, then what you must do is then you must get curious about it, start to understand where is this coming from, but not get analysis paralysis over it, but then be able to step up and raise that confidence so you can remove yourself away from the environment or deal with it head on. The final thing I'm going to say on this is that negativity you are responsible for as well, because a lot of the time we're being negative, a lot of the time we're holding ourselves back just because of this negative self-talk that happens. You have no reason for it. By choosing to be more positive, by choosing every day, even if you don't feel positive, say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be grateful for this. I'm going to be grateful for that. You know, when I take a shower in the morning, I am showering in gratitude. Gratitude washes over my entire body. And I don't know if you need all those details, but the great thing about being that way is it allows me to be a better human being. It allows me to feel more empowered. It allows me to have the energy to do things like this. It just inspires me to go out and live a great life. I want you to have a great life too. I want you to go out and do the things that you want to do. If you're selling, keep getting through the negativity, because that wall of negativity, if you keep staying positive, if you keep making the calls and learning from each call, if you keep having the meetings, if you keep showing up and you keep on adjusting and you figure it out and you get better in yourself, I promise you that you will reap the rewards. Thank you so much for checking in. Pete Scott here. I'll see you in our next video.